Now at 9, the EPA grants nearly $700,000 to the Iola School District. How they plan to use the money to go green.
Ukrainian President Zelensky is in Washington outlining his, quote, victory plan for President Biden. I'm Mike Emanuel in Washington with more on the meeting between the two leaders.
And history comes alive in Fredonia, Kansas for Old Iron Days.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The EPA is giving nearly $700,000 to the USD 257 school district in Iola, Kansas. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. KOAM's Anthony Saviello attended today's check presentation and tells us why the school district wants to use the green to go green.
It's a great day to be in Mustang country.
A great day because the Iola School District says they have some great news.
This school year, we will introduce 2 EV buses into our regular bus routes.
As part of the bipartisan infrastructure bill, the EPA has been able to grant money for school districts across the country to purchase electric zero-emission school buses. Superintendent Stacy Fager says the chance to add 2 EV buses to the school district fleet will set a standard for the surrounding area.
None of our entities right now on local governments have implemented EV type of vehicles, but this wasn't kind of what we felt is an opportunity to be someone to start that process, especially with the EPA investing so heavily with school districts to try to get them implemented.
Iola is one of almost 100 schools in the 4-state area to take advantage of the grants given by the EPA.
These clean school buses, electric vehicle technology, reduces greenhouse gas emissions and protects children and the environment by protecting the school bus drivers, certainly the children, school staff, and the communities through which the school buses drive through from harmful diesel emissions.
Before too long, students at USD 257 will have 2 brand new buses to call their own.
We're looking forward to how these are implemented in the district.
In Iola, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
The grant will also pay for the electric chargers for the buses. The school district hopes to have these buses on the road by this coming January. Well, some bad news for about 1,000 homeowners in eastern Oklahoma. The Sooner State is the latest state to lose some home insurance coverage as companies across the country rethink their approach to insuring high-risk areas. One of those companies, Farmers, say it will not be renewing roughly 1,300 policies in November. The good news, local homeowners should not have problems finding coverage anytime soon.
We have a lot of competition out there. We currently have 113 insurance companies that have active homeowners policies. We have an affordability issue. I'll give you that, and we're all wrestling with that. But we don't have an availability issue.
The move from Farmers is the latest in a long line of insurance companies across the nation pulling coverage in states like Florida, California, and Texas due to concerns about climate change and natural disasters. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us now with a first look at weather.
Well, it turned out to be another nice one for us today. Plenty of sunshine on your Thursday. 81 is where we topped out. Started chilly at 52. 78 is our average high, so pretty close to where we should be for this time of the year. 66 in Joplin, 63 in Pittsburgh. We are dry. 66 in Carthage, 68 in Bella Vista, Grand Lake 66. Iola holding on strong at 66. Chanute at 70 degrees. Nothing going on here. We have clear skies. We're going to stick with clear skies through the night until some high level clouds start to stream in late tonight. Of course, we got Hurricane Helene. Look at this intense eye wall. It's going to make landfall here in the next hour. You can see those outer bands still right over the ocean, but about ready to make landfall as a major Category 4 hurricane. So we're going to be talking more about Helene here in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, folks interested in starting a business got some hands-on training in Miami today. The Oklahoma Small Business Development Center hosted a special business startup training event. The event provided a back-to-basics approach to starting a business, including the legal side of starting a business, small business tax basics, best management practices, and so much more. The event also provided encouragement to grow local businesses.
So there's a lot of great stuff that my organization, that we see Miami, that right now we're working really closely with NEO, like with President Stafford and stuff. But we look at this town of Miami where there's so many different possibilities that for new businesses to come and really grow.
Oklahoma Small Business Development Center advisors were on hand to lend assistance. The 26th annual Old Iron Days gave kids a chance to see farm and domestic demonstrations. KOAM's Melissa Alexis takes us to Fredonia for the event.
We made some egg noodles and we've made some chicken and noodles. We're working on some apple pies right now.
Students who attend Old Iron Days get to see a glimpse into historic methods of farming and cooking.
This is a really good example as to what we used to have and what we used to do, and all these old machines and all of these old mechanics.
Open fire cooking demonstration. So in that demonstration, kids have an opportunity to actually cut the potatoes, stir the stew over the open fire, learn about the process of heat.
She says one of the goals of this experience is to teach students the value of cooperation and communication, and to help them learn skills they can use in the future.
We really believe in the value of hands-on learning. So there are things that make noise, things that they can taste, things that they can touch, machines that they can see running.
Whenever I grow up and have a family, I can't wait to stay home, make noodles with my kids, and do all these things, and just be a really good mom for maybe a homestead, or going to work and coming home and having these quick and easy things to do.
Old Iron Days will have demonstrations of candle making, broom making, open fire cooking, and more. Reporting in Fredonia, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Old Iron Days will run through this Saturday in Fredonia. Well, coming up, what older adults need to know if they choose to drink alcohol. Plus, a warning from a Southwest Missouri cat rescue about an increase in what some are calling a crazy cat disease. A warning from a Southwest Missouri cat rescue about an increase in a cat disease that many people may not know about. It's called feline infectious periodontitis, or FIP. It's a viral disease caused by certain strains of a virus called the feline coronavirus. FIP has a wet form, and that's when fluid builds in the abdomen and or chest and the cat looks unusually swollen. Now this cat that a rescue recently took in, named Popeye, has the dry form, which affects the central nervous system. It's harder to diagnose, but there are signs to look for.
Dry FIP traditionally is really thin and has really loose stool and just can't gain weight, cannot put weight on. It's almost like they're just so full of worms, you know, that they could never possibly gain weight. And so you deworm them a couple times again and you're like, well, I'm not seeing any worms. I'm not understanding why you're so thin and why we're having the stool, mucousy stool, that kind of thing. And that usually is a big indicator to go looking and having a little bit more blood work done and to do a little more research.
The treatment is expensive because it takes almost 3 months to complete and involves a daily pill. More than 218 million adults ages 18 and over report drinking alcohol at some point in their lifetime, and that's according to the 2023 National Survey on Drug Use and Health. How our bodies process this substance depends on many factors, including age. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither lays out the 3 main reasons why and what older adults should keep in mind if they choose to drink.
How much is too much? When it comes to health, any amount of alcohol has potential consequences, and as we age, the way it affects a person changes too.
First of all, your muscle mass goes down as you get older, and as a result, you're not going to metabolize alcohol as quickly as you used to.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta says the second reason alcohol affects older people differently is because liver function starts to decrease as the years pass. As a result, Gupta says alcohol will have a stronger impact on the body and the effects will hang around for a longer period of time. Finally, certain medicines that an older person may take can interact with the alcohol, and alcohol can increase the risk of falling too.
65% of fatal falls, especially in the elderly, are in some way associated with alcohol. So falls are a huge problem, especially in the elderly. Alcohol can exacerbate that, especially if you don't realize that it's affecting you more strongly than it used to.
Gupta says non-alcoholic drinks are gaining in popularity and may allow people to enjoy a similar drinking experience.
Important caveat, non-alcoholic can still mean small amounts of alcohol, up to 0.5%. So if you're trying to stay absolutely abstinent, you got to make sure to read those labels.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later, Fairland High School softball hosts a regional championship. John Bales has that and more later in sports.
October's different. And Spiva Center for the Arts.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a nice Thursday for us today. Temperatures fantastic. Most of us right around 80 degrees during the afternoon. No rain today before the month. We're only at 1.1 inches. September traditionally is a boring weather month, and it's lived up to that promise over the past few weeks. Actually, not a whole bunch going on even over about the next 10 days, but this means we need some rain. It's Thursday. The new drought tracker always comes out on Thursday. We have severe drought from Pittsburgh, Joplin, Neosho to Bentonville, Grand Lake, Miami, over toward Nowata, Bartlesville, Ponca City, and then very dry just about everybody else, or severe drought, and then dry once you get up Chanute, Iola, Humboldt, Fredonia, and Yates Center. All right, let's drop south. We have Hurricane Helene. Has been a strong Category 3. It's moved to a strong category, or a low-grade Category 4. So I knew it'd be kind of teetering right along that 4 line, and that's where we're sitting. So it rapidly intensified over the past hour or two. It's at its max strength right now because you can see the eye wall is almost right on shore. So you can see that band, that eye wall. So the most intense winds of gust right around 140 to 145 miles per hour. These outer bands, you get severe weather, and then you get that storm surge. All that water pushes inland. So a major hurricane going on for the next several hours in Florida. Cat 4 clocking winds at 140, moving northeast at about 25 miles per hour. So it's going to pass through Atlanta, still being a Category 1 or 2 hurricane. That's where the Royals are getting ready to play the Braves. And we've got to keep our eyes on that. And then all this moisture starts to head back toward us and tries to get in here. It just kind of puts the brakes on. All right, let's go outside. 66 Carthage, 66 in Neosho, 67 in Miami, 65 in Parsons. Here's 7th and Rangeline. Looks pretty good. 66 northerly winds, 5 to 10. As we go through the night, we look fine. We're going to have the clear skies sticking around. In fact, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, all looking pretty clear. We have this big dome of high pressure out across the Rockies. So until this breaks down, we're just not going to see any big storm systems trying to move in. All right, let's look at your Friday. Clouds increase during the morning hours. Mid and upper level clouds, eventually cloudy skies by noon. Temperature sitting into lower 70s. Once we get into the afternoon, 77, 78. Most of the rain, Springfield, Branson points east, but we can't rule out a random shower or a few sprinkles getting in. Cloudy skies stick around into Saturday morning, near 60. Mostly cloudy skies on Saturday, high temps near 80, but we will start to clear back out as we get into Saturday evening. So still, our very nice weather is going to be sticking around, but it'd be great if we could get some rain. 78 Friday, 80 on Saturday. Let's go 82 on Sunday. Monday, we're going to go 85 degrees, 79 on Tuesday. So temperatures looking pretty good.
Yeah, we'll take those temperatures.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love the lows too. All right, thanks, Doug. Well, it was all about snakes tonight in Yates Hall at Pittsburgh State University. Retired law enforcement officer and Wildcat Glades volunteer and keeper of snakes, Cameron Cruz, led the presentation. He taught attendees about 3 specific types of snakes: bull snakes, pine snakes, and gopher snakes.
These animals are part of our environment and our ecology, and we need to take care of that. We lose habitat every year, and that is probably one of the greatest things that we can lose because it It puts us in a situation where a lot of these animals will never be seen outside of a zoo.
At the end of the presentation, snake enthusiasts had the chance to touch the fascinating creatures. Well, coming up, AI on the job.
AI can't build a building just yet, but it can help. I'm Eben Brown in Miami. I'll have that story straight ahead.
The Federal Trade Commission is cracking down on businesses that use deceptive artificial intelligence to lure in customers. In a new law enforcement sweep, Operation AI Comply, the FTC took action against companies it said used AI to trick, mislead, or defraud by creating fake reviews. Well, AI isn't all bad in the workplace. Project managers work behind the scenes to make sure big jobs get done right. And now artificial intelligence has become standard throughout the industry, helping to streamline budgets and make deadlines. Fox's Eben Brown has more in this edition of our Fox on Tech series.
Just about every industry is changing as it adapts artificial intelligence, though some are picking up the new tech more quickly than the rest, especially professional project managers. These are the people making sure bridges get built, movies get made, and events go off without a hitch. Using AI in project management is now standard, with a new focus on logistics, aiming to streamline jobs.
Very quickly, we saw also AI become the #1 topic at all our conferences. Most of our content right now at this moment include at least a section about AI.
The Project Management Institute, representing more than 700,000 project managers, created 2 AI training courses teaching the next generation these new tools of the trade, and a ChatGPT-like assistant for automating lower-level work, ensuring the data they're passing on is both accurate and secure.
A lot of things are happening right now at the very beginning of this AI transformation, where people don't fully understand the consequences of having bad data or data that they don't own.
And those trends are only expected to accelerate as AI becomes more sophisticated, driving a complete transformation of how projects reach the finish line.
If we can equip them with the best tools and leverage AI the best we can, they would be even more effective at delivering all the things that we use every day.
There are about 38 million project professionals worldwide, but experts say that number will have to double over the coming decade to keep pace with industry growth. In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox News.
Well, stick around. Fido has a new place to make friends in Carthage. That story after the break. Well, Carthage has a new place to go for old and young dogs in the community. Today, the city celebrated the opening of the Carthage Dog Park at Municipal Park by the new playground. Four-legged friends and two-legged dog lovers attended the ceremony today to celebrate the city's newest addition.
Really just started looking at some of our use tax funds and the projects that we could do to just make the community better. We knew that it was a really high priority for the community based on a master study that we had done several years ago, and so we just wanted to bring that to the citizens.
A dog park membership is only $20 per household per year as a special grand opening offer. Anyone who signs up this year will not have to pay again until January of 2026. All dogs must be up to date on their shots and be spayed or neutered. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. Decision 2024 heats up as Kamala Harris sits for a rare national interview, and Donald Trump tries to build inroads with swing state voters. Plus, it's been a productive trip to the U.S. for Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who won a pledge of almost $8 billion in American aid.
Modern
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Joplin police investigate what happened during last night's fatal SUV motorcycle collision. The crash occurred at 44th and Main. Authorities closed the area for about 4 hours. According to the JPD, a north to westbound SUV collided with a southbound Harley-Davidson motorcycle. A female passenger on the motorcycle died at the scene. The 40-year-old male driver was rushed to an area hospital with serious injuries. Authorities have not yet released the names. And authorities today responded to reports of a car crash into a building on the 100 block of Joplin's Main Street. That building is apparently now a private club. Authorities say the 2 people in the vehicle and the 1 person in the building were not injured. Following an examination by the Joplin building inspector, the building will remain closed. Vice President Kamala Harris is going directly after her opponent's strengths, hitting former President Trump on the economy and immigration. During a rare but friendly MSNBC interview, Harris attacked the former president over his economic plans before pivoting to another of his strengths in most polls, immigration. Tomorrow, Harris is scheduled to visit the southern border for the first time as a presidential candidate. And while in North Carolina yesterday, Trump called Harris the tax queen because of her push to raise corporate taxes. And when it comes to the border, he reminded supporters that she played an instrumental role in carrying out Biden administration immigration policies. Ukraine's president is in Washington today, meeting with President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, along with lawmakers on Capitol Hill. Fox News Chief Washington correspondent Mike Emanuel reports on how Zelensky is expected to lay out how he believes his country can win its war with Russia.
Welcome back to the White House.
President Biden hosting Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in what could be their final face-to-face meeting of Biden's presidency.
Russia will not prevail. Ukraine will prevail, and we'll continue to stand by you every step of the way.
We deeply appreciate that Ukraine and America have stood side by side from the very first moments of this terrible Russian invasion.
Just ahead of the Oval Office meeting, the Biden administration announced another $8 billion in military aid.
I've also directed the Pentagon to allocate all the remaining security assistance funding that has been appropriated for Ukraine, period, by the end of my term.
But Zelensky is looking for something more than money. He wants the go-ahead to strike Russian military targets inside Russia with Western-made missiles, something the Biden White House has been hesitant to sign off on.
He believes if he could shut down those Russian air bases and missile bases that are attacking his country, that would give him leverage to get Putin to the table.
Zelensky also discussed his, quote, victory plan with the president.
We are preparing to discuss the details to strengthen the plan, coordinate our positions, views, and approaches. Our teams will work together to ensure the implementation of our future steps.
While at the White House, Zelensky also met with Biden's possible successor, Vice President Kamala Harris. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
Up next, Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty returns with your complete forecast, and later, tracking Hurricane Helene.
Life-threatening storm surge and power outages as Hurricane Helene pummels Florida's west coast. I'm Connor Hansen in Tallahassee with a look at the conditions coming up.
It's Center for the Arts.
Well, it turned out to be a nice Thursday for us today. Temperatures right around 80 degrees, which is pretty close to where we should be for this time of the year. A couple notches above that mark. All right, so we're tracking Helene making landfall right now. Look at the eye. You can see that center of circulation inching its way, actually moving pretty quick at about 25 to 30 miles per hour, right on shore. So once it gets inland, then it will lose that eye wall, and this hurricane will rapidly start to weaken. But it's gotten pretty strong. It's been a strong Category 3 to low Category 4. You can see those most intense bands right around that eye wall, but it is now making landfall exactly right now. It is starting to inch inward, and of course on this leading edge, this is where the strongest winds are, gusts 130 to 140, and it pulls that water in from sea, and that's why you get that very strong sea surge with these hurricanes. Clocking gusts 140, moving northeast at 24 miles per hour. So by morning, early morning, it's going to be in Atlanta, still Category 1 or Category 2 hurricane, and then it starts to push all this water back toward us. It doesn't quite make it, but we definitely get the clouds from Hurricane Helene. All right, outside right now it's 66 in Stockton, 67 in Bentonville, Jay 65, Neotish Jay sitting at 64. Let's go outside. Here's 7th and Rangeline, 66. Northerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. And as we go through the overnight hours tonight, we'll back down into the 50s. Clear skies, nothing going on here. We got some clouds starting to increase eastern Missouri due to Helene. But also once you get here, we have this huge dome of high pressure. So this is blocking our pattern up. It does a couple things. One, it doesn't allow Helene to move back to the west to give us rain, but it also doesn't allow storm systems back to the west to get through that area of high pressure. End result, we get pretty nice weather. We just don't get any rain, which we need. Clouds increase by morning, mostly cloudy skies through the morning hours. Rain tries to inch into our eastern counties. May get a few sprinkles. Most of you are going to stay dry. Temperature 77, 78 for high. As we go into Friday night, clouds stick around. We drop back near 60 for an overnight low. Saturday, mostly cloudy, a little bit more sunshine in the afternoon. High temps right around 80 degrees. 56 to start, 76 by noon. High temp, 78 degrees. Let's jump into high school football Friday evening. We're going to call some cloud interference, but our temperatures during the games sitting near the 60s. 80 on Saturday, 82 on Sunday. Kind of chilly during the overnights, but at least our weekend is shaping up pretty good across the region. All right, let's go 78 for you on Friday, 80 on Saturday, still a lot of clouds. 82 on Sunday, 85 on Monday. Down to 79 on Tuesday, back up to 92 on Thursday, so up and down temperatures. But again, not much in the way of rainfall in the forecast.
Yeah, well, we definitely need that rain, that's for sure.
We do.
I keep saying I love the temperatures. We'll take it. All right, thanks, Doug. Well, Hurricane Helene barreled towards Florida today, flooding roads and knocking out power to thousands of people. Communities hundreds of miles inland are feeling the impact. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen has more.
Millions of Floridians have been told to hunker down or evacuate as Hurricane Helene lashes the state with life-threatening storm surge, wind, and rain. This storm is forecasted to pass directly over Tallahassee, potentially as the strongest hurricane this community has ever dealt with. Hurricane Helene turning roads into rivers in communities along Florida's west coast.
We're going to get some high water here.
A deadly storm surge, projected to reach up to 20 feet in some spots, is causing coastal flooding as far south as the Florida Keys, while strong winds are knocking out power to thousands of homes and businesses. Officials are urging people to stay in an interior part of their home if they can hear trees snapping and to avoid checking the damage until morning.
If all of a sudden it goes from catastrophic trees popping to absolutely nothing, that does not mean the storm is over.
Helene is also impacting communities hundreds of miles inland and dropping heavy rain across the southeast. Swift water rescue teams and thousands of linemen have been deployed to respond to emergencies. Governor Ron DeSantis says his state has also sent dozens of generators to gas stations so people can fill up cars after the storm.
Whatever damage this brings, if we're able to get people back up on their feet with the electrical, that makes a huge difference.
Helene is expected to maintain its hurricane strength as it pummels other states in the southeast on Friday. In Tallahassee, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Well, coming up in sports, Fairland softball hosts Caney Valley for a regional championship, plus the undefeated Neosho football team prepares for its matchup on Friday with Webb City. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
Route 66 Golf.
It's regional championship time for high school softball in Oklahoma. Fairland won both its games yesterday, while Wyandotte had one win and one loss. Now that put the Lady Bears in a win-or-go-home game against Caney Valley this morning. Well, Wyandotte loses that one 6-4. It comes after the Bears beat the Trojans yesterday, but it ends Wyandotte's season and it gives Caney Valley a berth in the title game. Fairland 2-0 in the first day of regionals. Owls play for the championship this afternoon against Caney Valley. Bottom of the first inning, runner on second. Aubrey Kinsey skies one to shallow center. That's going to drop down and a run will score. Owls take the early lead, but Kinsey gets thrown out at second there. We go ahead to the third inning. Olivia Bartley sends one back up the middle and through. Another run will score. Owls up 2-0. Then in the fourth, couple runners on. Lakin McCoy pokes it the other way into right. That drops down. It's an RBI single. 4-0 Owls. Now Aubrey Kinsey was in the circle for Fairland on her game in this one. Gets a couple of strikeouts in the early going. Then in the fifth inning with the score 4-0, Caney Valley gets some life with an RBI double down the line into left field, but that doesn't faze Kinsey really at all. She gets a strikeout one batter later, escapes the inning with a shutout intact. Then in the seventh, Kinsey slams the door on the Trojans, gets a fly out to right to end it. Lady Owls are 2024 regional champs. They beat Caney Valley 5-0 and advance to Super Regionals next week. Neosho High School football is 4-0 for the first time in 30 years. 1994 was the last time the Wildcats won their first 4 games of the season. This week, they go try to improve to 5-0 as they go on the road to perennial powerhouse Webb City. The undefeated Neosho Wildcats hit the practice field this afternoon in anticipation of maybe their biggest game of the season so far. They're on the road at Webb City tomorrow night. The Wildcats' fourth-year head coach Brandon Towdy told us earlier this summer this would be the year his team breaks through. They've backed that up so far.
It's just their work ethic. You know, we've been together now for 4 years. This senior class was freshman my first year, and so we know each other well, and they know the expectation and the standard that we're trying to live at, and not a surprise to us, but we're not satisfied. We just want to keep working and getting better every single day.
It's always a great environment in Webb. That's all kind of our favorite field to play at. It's always a great environment. Their fans are always heckling you and everything. It's just a tough environment to play in, and we just like the challenge to go in there and play, and hopefully we can come out with a win.
Over to Major League Baseball, Royals at the Nationals trying to finish off a sweep. Second inning, Royals down 1-0. Hunter Renfroe crushes this one to straightaway center and gone. Solo home run ties the game at 1. Top of the third, Royals up 2-1. Bobby Witt Jr. with a base hit. A run will score. Royals lead 3-1. Later in that inning, same score, bases loaded. Yuli Gurriel lines one up the middle. Another run will score. It's now 4-1 Royals. But in the bottom of the inning, Luis Garcia Jr. erases all of the work that Kansas City did at the plate with this 3-run homer. Just like that, the game is tied at 4. We remain tied into the 9th inning. That's when Adam Frazier comes in to pinch hit with 2 on, lines one into left, and 2 runs score. Royals win at 7-4. They extend their lead for the wild card spot further. Back to Neosho and Webb City. That's a game that we have circled on our schedule. It's our game of the week for tomorrow, and very different for these two. Webb City's 1-3, not used to losing that many games early, and you heard Neosho saying they haven't won a lot like this so far.
Is there any other matchups tomorrow night that you're really looking forward to?
Yeah, we got a couple other. Mount Vernon against Lamar is a good one. Then in Kansas, Fort Scott and Pittsburgh is a big one too.
All right, looking forward to having highlights from all of those.
Of course.
All right, thanks, John. We're back with more news after this. The seniors from McDonald County High School were busy today educating the district's elementary school students about the importance of agriculture. KOAM's Lonnie Walton takes us from the classroom to the barnyard.
I believe having a good, firm, concrete education about it at a young age is a good way to be introduced into it.
High school senior Rhett Keaton is the student president of McDonald County FFA. He dreams of being a farmer one day. That means taking younger students to the barnyard is right up his alley.
A lot of the kids here have never seen agriculture, never seen a cow, never seen a tractor, and I just love the reaction to it.
Senior Vivian Latham is returning an experience she once had as a freshman.
I was a freshman in high school. I stepped out of my comfort zone and started ag, and it was probably one of the best decisions I had ever had in my entire life.
Both Keaton and Latham say helping elementary students understand the importance of farming is an experience they won't forget.
To see the second graders for one last time is such an important part of my life.
They're learning hands-on in front of them, and they're just excited to be here. That's my favorite part.
Reporting in McDonald County, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Administrators and teachers of McDonald County High School expressed their pride for the seniors during the event. Lady Gaga reveals Joker companion album. That and more in the Hollywood Nation. A couple of first looks at movies in theaters and streaming, and a first round of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction performers announced. Fox's Ashley Dvorkin has a look at these stories and more in today's Hollywood Nation.
I need your help. Really?
Clooney teams up with Pitt, Eisenberg travels with Culkin, and rock and roll inductees perform in the Hollywood Nation. The first round of performers for the 39th annual Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction have been announced. Inductees performing include Mary J. Blige, Cher, and Dave Matthews Band. Additional presenters and performers include Busta Rhymes, Dr. Dre, Dua Lipa, Jelly Roll, and Julia Roberts. The ceremony airs live October 19th on Disney+. Lady Gaga has a companion album to go with her movie Joker Folie à Deux called Harlequin. Gaga stars as Harley Quinn in the upcoming sequel alongside Joaquin Phoenix as Joker. She revealed the album is out September 27th. The movie is in theaters October 4th.
We're not at the right station.
And you didn't wake me up.
Oh, you were having such a good nap, dude.
In today's First Looks is Jesse Eisenberg's festival favorite, A Real Pain. Eisenberg wrote, directed, and co-stars with Kieran Culkin in the film. The two play mismatched cousins reunited for a tour through Poland to honor their late grandmother, who was a Holocaust survivor. Eisenberg won a screenwriting award for the movie at Sundance Film Festival. It's in theaters November 1st.
You're a man who can fix things.
There's nobody can do what I do.
Apple TV Plus released another trailer for Wolves with George Clooney and Brad Pitt. The two play fixers at the same high-profile crime forced to work together. The action comedy starts streaming Friday. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of a female baby southern poodoo at the Warsaw Zoo, the second smallest deer species in the world. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.